Hello and welcome to the Hanze University of Applied Sciences in the city of Groningen in the Netherlands. This podcast is meant to inform you what the student life in Groningen is all about. It consists out of a series of interviews held with international students from all across the world that currently study here at the Hanze University. I hope you find it both informative and entertaining. My name is Adam. Enjoy the show. Well, everyone, this is Alina. You are from Germany.
Yes.
And you are a fourth year IBS student.
Correct.
Okay. So, how old are you, Alina?
I'm 23.
You're 23. So you came here when you were 19.
Yeah. Actually, when I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because you're from Germany and you decided to come to Groningen to study at the Hanze, what made you decide to study at the Hanze University?
I like the international surroundings around Groningen in general because it's a really lively student city, and you know that we have two different universities here, which are the Rijksuniversity, the University of Groningen, and the Hanze University. And what I especially liked about the Hanze University was that they offer a 4-year program of which you have one completely year abroad. Half a semester you have to do an internship abroad, and half a semester you have to study in a country of your choice. So that was a really nice aspect that convinced me to come over. Additionally, I wanted to study in English and not in my mother language, German.
Yes.
So that was another point. And yeah, I visited an open day in Germany, and the Hanze University was representing themselves. And yeah, I talked to some students that were already studying here, and they told me that the surrounding at Hanze University is really international. There are students from China, from Eastern European countries, and they have so many different nationalities here, and that's what kind of made sense to me. If I study international business, I want to study in an international surrounding. So yeah, these were my...
But why Groningen? How did it come up on your radar? Because it would seem that it's not your first choice. Like, you wanted to study in English, you could have went to England, you could have went to the United States, for example.
That's true. Of course, I looked at the costs as well, and United States or England would have been way more expensive than it is in the Netherlands. Plus, Groningen is not that far from Germany, but still I am studying in a different country than where I am from. Yeah. That were the main reasons, and I like the city of Groningen. It's a really beautiful, not too big but not too small city, very international, and a lot of young people.
So you really like the international aspect of Groningen?
Yes.
And this international aspect of both Hanze and the city of Groningen, how did it influence you during your studies here as a person? Do you feel that it added to your life experience or to your personality? Has it enriched you?
Yes, definitely. I think that, of course, my English improved. English was always my favorite subject in school, but still it improved because here, when you're studying here, you're talking English on a daily basis because all the classes are in English. You get to know different people who do not speak your language. I think I also became more open-minded, although I was quite open-minded already. But still, I got to know so many different and interesting people, and learned a lot about their cultures by simply talking to them. So I think I also became more aware of different parts of the world. So my cultural awareness also increased.
And what's like the most important lessons that you learned here during your time? Like in terms of like business or cultural development?
I think that I learned that you, on a personal level, you are so much richer if you step out of your comfort zone for once, and as I mentioned before, get to know different people that are different, that differ from you, that are from a different continent even.
Yes.
And just exchange your views on the world. That enhances you and embraces you as a person on a personal level, because you become so much more aware of what the world has to offer, and would not know that if you would not come out of your comfort zone, and if you are staying in the country that you know from your birth on. So yeah, I think the lesson I learned is that if you are brave enough to move out of your comfort zone, you will definitely get something back.
That's beautifully said, and I couldn't agree more. How would you describe your student life here at the Hanze? I know it has changed probably a lot during the last 4 years.
Yes.
Because,
well, of course, during the first year, everything was exciting. You wanted to get to know the city, and the city actually has a lot to offer. There's always something going on, so you go out with friends, you have a drink here, you meet in the park just to relax and talk to each other. But since I'm working at the university, of course my spare time reduced. So besides studying and working, every now and then I meet some friends in the city, and going out every 3 weeks or once in a month. But besides that, I'm just studying and focusing on my final year, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like now that you're ready to graduate,
Yes.
almost graduated, you feel like to just get everything done, just finish it.
Yeah.
You feel this power.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. How did you, because you work at the info desk, right,
Yes.
of the International Business School, could you give like a short description of like what the job entails and how did you get it? Because that's could be an interesting
Yes,
thing.
yeah, definitely. It's a job offered by the university, and every time a new position is available, this position is posted on the internal network of the university, on Mein Hanze, and then simply everybody can apply, send a CV and a cover letter, and I got invited to an interview, and then I was selected. And the job is basically, it can be compared to the job of a receptionist. So you are answering every question students come up with, you are helping them, supporting them, you are answering the phone, booking rooms for teachers and lecturers. Sometimes there are smaller tasks you have to do for some lecturers.
Okay.
That's basically it.
Okay, now a little bit of different topic, because as I remember correctly, you did your internship in New York.
Yes.
And please, could you tell a little bit about how the courses that you had in the Hanze translated to the work that you did in your internship?
Okay, yes. Courses like, I did my internship in the field of logistics. So the course that comes close to that position I had over there was supply chain management. But not only that, it was not only about the subject itself, but also courses like PRD, which is personal development, or CTD, which is career training development, helped me during my time there, because you just learned a lot about yourself during the time of your internship. Plus, you already had to analyze your strengths and weaknesses before in those courses I just mentioned. So, I was also already quite aware of what kind of person I am, and of course what weaknesses I have, and on what I should work and what I could improve during my internship. Yeah.
So your internship was, you kind of knew what you were going to do before the internship, like what kind of things you were going to work at, but the internship was a little bit like a mirror that helped you.
Well, I knew that it would be in the field of logistics, but I had no idea what kind of tasks I was expected to do.
You always know it once you get there and you see it in real life.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you first arrived here, how was life for you? So, because it's a big switch, right? Always moving to another country. You were 18 years old, as you just said. So how was that, being an 18-year-old girl coming here to the Netherlands?
Of course it was excited, and I was a bit afraid, because it was the first time I moved away from home, and then I moved to a completely different country in which they don't speak my language usually. And of course it was a switch from speaking everyday German to speaking everyday English, but I think you have a lot of support by fellow students who are in the same situation, so you do not feel alone at all, and you get quite fast used to the new way of life you are expected to have. And of course, since you have classes or university almost every day, that makes it even easier because you have a rhythm in your life, and every morning you wake up and you have something to do, so there's no time for being sad or being homesick. No.
So you adapted really quickly.
Yes.
Okay. A question that I ask, like standard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you could go back and talk to yourself when you first arrived here, with the lessons that you learned during the last 4 years, what would you tell yourself to do differently? Like, what knowledge would you share of yourself to your younger you?
That's a good question. Actually, I think I wouldn't do anything different. Besides, like, do you mean in terms of university and studying, or all
Whatever
aspects?
you wish, whatever you want, however you want to answer the question, please do.
Well, maybe I would have done something differently if I would have the chance, and that would be the search for a flat here in Groningen.
Mm-hmm.
Because before I arrived, I arranged a flat only via the internet. So
Yes.
I searched for apartments, rooms, shared flats, whatever, on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just got all the information written down on Facebook, and I only saw pictures of the room, but I didn't meet the people I was living with beforehand. So that would be
So that was
an
a lonely
aspect
situation?
that I would do differently.
Okay, but you were like, it didn't go. You had to switch rooms quickly, or you
No,
were satisfied about the price, or?
Yeah, it's more about the price
Okay.
and the quality that is given for the price.
Okay.
Yeah.
So new students, if they would arrive here, how would you recommend for them to search a room? What approach? would they
Well,
take?
ideally, if they have someone already living in the city they know, and that person could refer them to other people that person knows have a spare room available, that's always the best solution. But otherwise, of course, you can make the first contact via Facebook or whatever social networks, but then you should really come to the city yourself to see the apartment, and not just decide based on the pictures you see on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now again, slightly different question. A little deeper also. It's over the last 4 years, how would you develop? How do you feel that you have developed yourself over the last 4 years since studying at the Hanze?
I think right now I am more aware of what I want in terms of business, because of course you have a lot of courses here and they cover every single field of business, but when you enter the 4th year you have to specialize in something, and as soon as you specialize you go a bit deeper into the field of business you have chosen. So I would say that I definitely know what I want, and as I mentioned before, I have grown a lot since the first year I arrived.
You've matured a lot.
Yeah, I've matured. Yeah.
Do you feel that the fact that you left your comfort zone and you had to be courageous to do that has also taught you a lesson that you can rely on yourself?
Yes.
Like no matter what the circumstances?
Yes, definitely. I'm really confident. I am not afraid to go anywhere in the world I could imagine to go on my own. Because that's what you somehow learn during a year abroad. I mean, you can go with fellow students if you are lucky, but even if you're not, it's only to your advantage, because if you go to a foreign country all on your own, actually it's the best lesson for yourself to get to know yourself.
Yes, because you become tested in a way that you weren't tested before.
Yes.
Everything in your environment
it's
is
a
different.
challenge, more or less, but the challenge it's worth it.
And everything is a learning experience, because
Yes.
nothing is familiar anymore.
No,
you
nothing
cannot
is familiar.
fall back on autopilot things
No.
that you always used to do.
No.
Okay. One final question,
Yeah.
Alina. what kind of tips and recommendations would you have for new students that want to study at the Hanze, want to come to Groningen? Like, if they're thinking about coming here, what kind of recommendations would you have?
I would say don't bring your own bike, because there are many bikes in the city, and if you bring your own bike, it gets stolen anyway. So that would be one recommendation.
You're not the first person that mentions this.
Okay, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be one recommendation.
You brought your own bike with you first time?
Yes, and it got stolen, of course.
How long?
How long I was able to ride it
to
here?
ride it here, yeah.
I think 4 months.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Not that bad, yeah. Then another recommendation would be that you definitely should, I don't know, visit the Dutch course before, because I think it's quite important if you're living in another country to at least try and learn the language, even though you cannot speak it perfectly after several years. It doesn't matter, but at least try it and try to get to know the Dutch culture as well.
Dutch people are very friendly and very open-minded.
Yeah.
However, if they do show you more respect if you go that extra mile and adapt Dutch customs or try to adopt the Dutch language.
Yeah.
Like, they do respect that a lot.
They do. I mean, everybody would, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Alina, thank you very much for sharing your knowledge and your experience.
You're welcome.
And I hope that everyone enjoyed this show and our guest.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for your time. I hope everyone found it informative and entertaining.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.